Hello, people of the internet. Welcome back to another entry in Haskov's intermittent tutorial series. Today, I will be providing a little more information in addition to the previous video on autocrafting. As I have been expanding my crafting capabilities, I have found that there is a machine that you will most likely want to automate, but is more difficult to than you might think. That machine is the Applied Energistics Inscriber. You need to use these to make basically everything to do with your ME systems, so it is a great idea to automate it, but it's pretty weird to get working. In this video, I'll walk you through the two different configurations you will need to set up your Inscribers in to get them hooked up to the ME system for automatic crafting. Pressing circuits and silicon is the process that we'll be tackling first because that is more foundational to the system's running, as well as less involved than the next configuration. There are 4 processes we'll want to automate with this configuration, and unfortunately with how I have managed to make it work, this requires you to have an explicit inscriber for each item. The 4 items are printed silicon, and then printed logic, calculation, and engineering circuits. To make these, you need to set up your inscriber in a specific way. Let's go over that now. To set this up, first you place an inscriber, then use your Certus Quartz wrench to rotate the machine if you plan on setting up your machines in a series like I have over here. The reason that we rotate it also is because every side of the inscriber is correlated to an input or an output. Rotating makes it so that the top can be the power, the back can be your interface, and the bottom can be the outputs. That is because normally the left side is nothing, the back is the middle input, the right is the output, and the top and the bottom are their corresponding inputs. So to get this hooked up all rotated, we put power to the top, and import bus on the bottom, and ME interface on the back, and then we place the inscriber, rotate it, and we put an appropriate plate for the item in the top slot. Next, we need the patterns for the processes we want to automate, so we'll go make the patterns quickly after this, but I want to quick recap what we went over here. So the back interface here is this middle slot here. Since we're rotated, this import bus will be pulling from the right side, which is the slot that corresponds to this output. And then if we wanted to put something in the top, we could put something here that puts items into it, but the silicon press is there. And if we wanted to put something into the bottom, we would put something right here on this surface. And then we just run power to here, and it would be hooked up and ready to go. But let's get the pattern set up and show you how that looks. In the pattern interface, all you need to do is make sure you're in the processing pattern mode, put your material in the center, and then your output item in the right, and hit encode. You'll want to do this for all 4 of the processes that we're trying to automate. And then you just go drop the patterns in the ME interface, and your crafting terminal will have access to the new patterns. So if I go to craftable here, you can see that I can craft the printed calculation circuit, engineering circuit, logic circuit, and silicon with the inscribers I have above. The second configuration process is for completing the processors. This can be achieved with only one inscriber, but the setup is a little more confusing. Looking at this inscriber I already have set up, the process we are automating has 2 consistent inputs, printed silicon and redstone. To keep this full of them, we set up ME export buses to put these items in their respective slots. For example, the printed silicon needs to go in the bottom slot, so we put the ME cable and the export interface on the bottom of the inscriber. In the export bus, if we put printed silicon in it, it will push out printed silicon into that side of the inscriber constantly. If we do the same with redstone in the back of the inscriber, there will always be silicon in the bottom slot and redstone in the middle slot. To get the output, we attach an ME input bus to the right side. To power it, we attach power to the left side. And to allow our ME system to use it for autocrafting, we attach an ME interface to the top with all the patterns we're going to create. As you can see, I have each circuit and its corresponding processor. To make these patterns, you just put the circuit on the left and a processor as the output in a processing pattern, just like we did for the inputs. Once that's done, the new processor should show up in your crafting terminal and you're ready to go. So let's demo it. Let's say I want to make some calculation processors. So I can see that I have this craft option here. I click that. Let's make 10 and we hit next and then we hit start. And I can look here. The Inscribers having the items dropped in there and it makes them. And then it'll do that for the next 10. And that is how you go about automating the processors. That's it for the video. If you've made it this far, thanks a bunch. And if you liked what you've seen, consider subscribing. If you have any thoughts or questions on the contents of this video, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.